Good morning, Copers. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? I have decided to spare you from any more Joker 2 issues, mostly because, well, I won't bore you with the technical difficulties, but there's Rumble Studio issues and copyright issues with YouTube, and we'll just leave it at that. But mostly it's because I'm benevolent and merciful. And I know, even though it's really good, I know you guys don't like it, so I'm going easy. How are you guys doing this morning? It is February 12th, Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And big show today. Lots to talk about. Mass shooting in Canada and several other things.
Wandering Neanderthal sent $20 talk about a rehabilitation show for Ralph yesterday. If he performed like that more often you might even think he was a normal guy if you didn't know the lore. I also never knew Mark could be so funny when in a less serious setting. Cat Respecter sent $5.
Thank you, Wandering Neanderthal and Cat Respecter. Thank you very much for the donos. Appreciate that. It was a good show yesterday. It was a good time. Nice and cat. Really, the kind of vibe that that's what I aim for with the progress report. It's tough, because we're in such a serious existential crisis. It's hard to have fun. But that's really what I want to do, and but also be serious, right? So some people, and Mark Collette is a great example of a guy who can weave seamlessly. He can talk about an issue seriously, break it down. And then he can go to just cracking jokes about, Dark Side Phil or whatever and act like that's also matters in the same breath. And that's exactly what I like. That's exactly what I go for. So I had a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. Yes. And Ralph was good. A lot of people maybe it's really deep lore back to the height of the kill stream when he was on YouTube and doing the heel stream with 6,000 people watching live or whatever, and they raised $25,000 for St. Jude's Hospital, and PewDiePie would talk about the kill stream on his show. People don't necessarily know that Ralph used to be very big and successful back in the day. And, he's had a lot of problems since then, a lot of ups and downs and mostly downs. But you don't get that big without having some kind of talent or skill as a broadcaster. And it was nice. I liked talking to him. I liked having him on. I'm glad he showed up ready to rumble. So good time had by all. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who watched. And I have a kind of an announcement for next week, but it ties into something else I'm going to touch on, so we'll just get to that in a few minutes here. James Vanderbeek passed away. I don't usually comment on Hollywood celebrity deaths and celebrity deaths in general, stuff like that, but this guy has such a beautiful family that it is worth just noting. What a beautiful family. Talk about winning bigly at life before cancer robs you. It's also there was some other musician who died. I can't remember who for some reason now. Some musician died last week who was also 47. Vanderbeek was 47. I'm 45. It really hits home. You're oh, I could just get cancer. I could wake up with cancer tomorrow. Obviously, these things can happen at any age. Guitarist from Cake. Three Doors Down, I think, is the one I was thinking of. That's the one I was thinking of, yeah. You could obviously go at any time. We should all be aware of that. But the older they get, the more you see people your own age dropping off, and it's really scary. And it's just sad when a guy has such a lovely family. And also, I guess like his kind of cancer, which is like what, rectal colon? What do they call it? So it wasn't colon, it was like some other thing. But I guess it's really expensive to treat, and so he had to like sell a bunch of stuff to pay for the treatment before he died, and they made a fundraiser for his family, which has already raised like 1.5 million. So it's another one of these things where you kind of think like, oh, do they, like, these people are like Hollywood stars, do they really need the money? But it colorectal, thank you. It just goes to show how beloved he was. You know, he stars in one of the movies on the official I, Hypocrite movie list, which is the Laws of Attraction. And he plays, a lot of people don't know this, but in that movie, he plays Patrick Bateman's younger brother, Sean Bateman. So, you know, the Patrick Bateman character from American Psycho? The Laws of Attraction movie was written by the same guy who wrote American Psycho. And the characters are brothers. That's like canon. And it's a very like kind of like degenerate, nihilistic Gen X comedy, very sort of typical for the time, and the kind of like degenerate Jewish movie that sort of shaped my youth and made me the fuck up that I was. So I'm not saying it's like a good movie, but it's interesting as sort of symbolizing the Gen X nihilism and hedonism. And B, it is funny, I think. I think it's very funny. Like, you got Fred Savage playing a heroin junkie, and he's like, I can feel my dick. You guys, I don't wonder if they have that on YouTube. Do you guys know that one? Oh, man. It's so... And he puts the cigarette in his belly button. Did I call it law? It's okay. It's Rules of Attraction. Where's the Fred Savage? They don't have it on YouTube. Anyway, there's James Van Der Beek. So if you've never seen this movie, that could be a way for you to sort of celebrate the guy's life. I know he's known for Dawson Creek mostly, which was a show that I would watch every once in a blue moon just because it was on TV. And I thought that one girl was so... Okay, was Nev Campbell in Dawson Creek? But then there was like the other one. That's Nev Campbell. Is that the one I thought was cute? Hold on. Dawson Creek cast. Oh, I thought I had like a big crush. Katie Holmes. Wait, it wasn't Nev Campbell at all, right? It was Katie Holmes. And she is just the one. She's the one who I thought was there like some girl called Piper or something? Anyway, I don't know. I think Katie Holmes is the one I had a crush on, even though I only ever watched like 2 or 3 episodes. It was one of those like, yeah, because I was Canadian and we had like 3 channels and there's just nothing else on. So you end up watching a little Dawson's Creek. Anyway, rest in peace, James Van Der Beek. And moving on, there's this article in the Daily Mail about Elijah Schaefer. Very long article. I skimmed through it this morning. Not a whole lot worth talking about. He had like a secret apartment where he would bring his women. Really not a lot. There's just one thing I wanted to touch on because it ties into something I was trying to explain. When I was saying I understand, how a guy could fall into this trap, there's an aspect of this beyond lust, and it's revealed here in this line here. Schaefer was said to have been caught on Ring camera footage showing a friend on his phone nude photos of women he was sleeping with. And so this is the ego aspect of it. It's not just lust, it's also pride. And I was saying, I was like, you know, you want to be the man who has it all. You make money, you have the nice house, the pretty wife, the lovely kids, and the hot mistress. But you have to show your guy friends you have the hot mistress, so somebody knows how amazing and good your life is, right? So there's this prideful aspect to it as well, this ego-driven aspect that you got to be careful of, because maybe you don't think you're the most lustful person, but if the devil can't get you one way, he gets you another way. And this is also funny. Kezia, that's Elijah's wife or ex-wife, told her friends she allegedly saw him doing it in the footage while she was in Australia, and he tried to explain it away by claiming they were photos of her. That makes it so much better. No, honey, I was just showing him your nudes. Honey, you're tripping out. I was just showing him your nudes. Crazy. Anyway. Okay, and this is what I was going to mention about the progress report coming up. The Backlash, big changes at the Backlash. Cameron and Rebecca are out. And her boy LP is in. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not in at all. That's not happening. Thank God. Thank God I didn't move to Idaho just to try to be on a podcast that was falling apart at the seams, apparently. Cameron and Rebecca are out, and it sounds like, based off of this statement, that Vincent James is back in, and it will be the Dave Riley and Vincent James show. So I had been texting with Rebecca the last few days about doing the show remotely. I can't say basically anything. I know, I'll say this. I know more than I can say. I can't say anything, but I know. Just so you know, I know. But like, she was trying to talk to me about getting me on the show to try to salvage the situation, because there was problems, obviously. And I thought that was happening. Like, I told Allison, I was like, oh, I'm going to start doing the Backlash. Like, it seemed like it was really going to happen soon. And then I saw this tweet all of a sudden. And so that's what's up. You know, I think that Dave Riley is going to find out a hard lesson the same way Matt Christensen did, that about why people were watching, why people were tuning in. And I think it's going to be a rough go. That's my prediction for the future of the show. Because not only is Rebecca kind of like the funny and based one that people like, but then Cameron was like kind of the smart and insightful one. And they're both gone now. And in addition to that, shoes off. As a Canadian, the shoes on weird. We went to like Allison's in-laws, like her grandpa was in town because her grandma passed away a couple months ago, give or take. And her grandpa was in town, and so all the family like got together at these other people's house, and everybody had their and it's like raining outside, and everybody kept their shoes on, and so I kept my shoes on, and I felt very uncomfortable. I felt like I can't walk on the rug, I can't walk on the carpet, I can't. These people are savages. You people live like this. But you know, that's just when in Rome. But anyway. So not only is there that aspect that like people like Rebecca a lot. Like you can say no e-girls or whatever. If you look at her YouTube channel and you just look at her like live streams sorted by popular, her actual solo interviews she did an interview with Gypsy Crusader that has like 130,000 views, like a live stream. That's hard to do. And she has a whole bunch that are north of 30, 40, 50,000. So people like
Mr.
Rebecca.
Bliss Chillin sent $3. Are you going to start a show with the Nutter and Jessica V? Also, funny how your cross-dressing serial killer video is getting a bunch of views.
Yes, that is fortuitous timing given current events. You know, YouTube is like that, where an old video they'll just decide to like shove it back into the algo. You see this every once in a while, as long as it's like a good video that's also kind of evergreen. They can do that. They won't do it to my George Carlin video anymore because they age restricted it. But yeah. So at the exact same time as this shooting that we're about to get to, my cross-dressing serial killer video is getting all this action on YouTube. Yes, cat respected. That's right. But anyway, to finish my thought here, most people were watching, I think, on her channel. Like her channel was the main hub for watching the Backlash. So this is going to be two big problems for Dave and Vince. It's harder than you think to get people to migrate, even from like one YouTube channel to a different one. And anyway, I just think they're going to have a hard time getting back to where they were. We'll leave it at that. I have Rebecca coming on the progress report next week. Now, we had said she was going to come on Thursday. I'm going to see if I can move it to Wednesday now, because they're supposed to be doing the Backlash on Wednesday. So now that that's over, maybe I can get it back on my normal day. And I'm trying to get, I shouldn't say this because it's not confirmed at all, but I've been talking to Woman Propaganda. You know, that guy, Angry Patriot. What's his real name? Like Hadrian McDougal or something.
Solid Cracker sent $5 up. Consider building your own streaming platform.
No, absolutely not. That's so expensive and such a headache. I just joined Crusaders, which I'm stoked about, but they're trying to get like, they haven't shut down during the day, so I'll be a lot more smoked. Yeah, Hayden McDougal. Wow, this guy's 1.4 million followers. No wonder he only answers my DMs like once a week. Man, I really want to get him on because he's like funny too. What did I say, Hadrian? He has expressed that he's willing to do it. He's just like doesn't answer his messages very much. But okay, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for Woman Propaganda and Rebecca this week. Let's will it into existence, guys. Let's manifest it. Clavicular, I meant to have the other tweet pulled up, but Clavicular is literally like keeps getting away with it for real. It's really funny. This is like the third time where I've seen something and I'm like, okay, it's over for this guy. It's all catching up with him. And it's not like that I want him to crash and burn. But I just, like, it just seems so obvious that he's going to. Where's my tweet? Because I quote tweeted it. Hold on. How does he do it? How? This one here. How does he keep doing it? You just got a MOG, he says. Men's facial features may sway criminal sentencing. This is because all of the charges, we talked about this the other day, he was charged with having a fake ID and being in a bar as a minor and having prescription pharmaceuticals. And all the charges got dropped. He just keeps getting off scot-free from all these like sticky situations. We have to start calling the guy Teflon Don. It's over for Clavicular this time. I'd like to see Clavicular wiggle his way out of this one. Clavicular easily wiggles his way out. Nevertheless. I can confirm the Maricopa County attorney has dropped charges based on no reasonable likelihood of conviction. That's a little suspect, isn't it? You got this guy caught with a fake ID. The police search him, find a fake ID, find drugs, and he's in the bar underage. And the prosecutor's like, nah, no chance. No chance a judge would ever go for this evidence. People have started to speculate that maybe somebody is looking out for him. Maybe he has a wealthy benefactor pulling strings behind the scenes, making calls. And some people are saying that person may even be Peter Thiel.
Tristan Chase sent $5 LP, TPR this season so far Hasab. Had a very nice vibe. Relaxed, funny and comfortable. If you get Rebecca and even Hayden that's on brand. WTPR. It's so back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best to make the shows good. You do what you can. Yeah. It gets when you keep like hitting home runs, it gets like more stressful because you're like, oh God, I can't keep hitting home runs forever. Fuck me. People expect me to keep hitting home runs, you know. I mean, I'm happy with how the show's been going. Not to brag, but anyway. LPU loudmouth. I didn't say anything. What did I say? I said there was problems. I think people could probably deduce that from the fact that two hosts quit at the same time. But I could say a lot more. Oh, the stories I could tell. No, I'm just joking. I don't know anything. Just kidding. People are saying that Peter Thiel may be Clavicular's sugar daddy.
The Nutter sent $3. Rebecca, I see you in the chat. You should let me blast your face with nut.
Come on, you guys. That's not funny. Apparently, he has some super chatter named P who gives big donos. Since the very beginning of Clavicular's streaming career, this mysterious person known only as P has been his #1 top donator. In Clavicular's very first week streaming on Kick alone, P dropped over $150,000 in your first week of streaming on Kick from super chats or whatever, however, gifted subscriptions. I don't know how Kick works. How do you even have enough subscribers to gift that many followers on your first week to even gift that many subscriptions? Since then, he's continued.
The Orthodox sent $3. I'm pretty sure Aiden Ross said a Jewish curse over cloth. I definitely think he has Jewish protection now.
Right, I remember that. And you know what's funny, Orthodoxer? You were the one who said that Sydney Watson sued Elijah
Anonymous
Schaefer
sent
and lost.
$3. Clav is secretly a gubro.
Uh-oh. Big if true. And Sydney Watson put out a video, which I sat through this morning. I was hoping she was going to dish more dirt about her time at the Blaze or whatever, but she didn't. So I can't really, in good faith, recommend the video because it's nothing I didn't already know. But there was one thing which she explained where that rumor came from, because I guess Elijah went on some other guy's podcast and said that Sydney Watson sued him and he beat the lawsuit, and it's just total bullshit. Elijah was just lying, basically. He's just lying. This is like, you can look up, lawsuits are public information. It's not like a case of he said, she said. We know what happened. Cindy Watson sued the Blaze and they settled with her. That's what happened. Anyway, back to this. Since then, he's continued showering him with occasional $1,000 donations. In total, it's estimated that P has funneled around $500,000 to Clavicular over the course of his roughly 3-month streaming run. So we're talking like 150 plus K a month from one guy. Must be nice. And that's not even counting the funding he provided for Clavicular's $280,000 Maybach Sprinter van. Is that the thing he's always driving around in? I thought that was like one of those Tesla robo taxis or whatever. That he's sitting in the back of in those clips. I don't know. Things took an even wilder turn during Clavicular's brief flash visit to Los Angeles, where he received an exclusive invite to a party held at Thiel's $11.5 million Hollywood Hills mansion, an event known for only admitting the absolute top echelon of society. Ever since that party, fans have been heavily speculating that P is actually billionaire Peter Thiel himself. I assume this is like a video of him getting a big super chat or something.
Is to take over 10 hours for the stream marathon, so I'm gonna try to work some of that in. But P, he's going crazy, man. Already donated 500 and 100 gifted subs. What the fuck? Crazy. P, send. Wait, what? WP. Yeah, put on Pushin P, his song. Actually, I don't know how to connect the whatever. So I'm gonna throw some. What do we got here? We got 30 MG.
It's a lot of money. Somebody's getting something for that money, aren't they? Who knows? Maybe they just really, maybe P, whoever he is, just really likes looks maxing. He's a big supporter of the looks maxing movement. Kind of suspect, kind of weird. Thiel is boosie maxing. Says donut operator. I wonder if I could get him on the show. He's the one who invited me to that San Antonio shooting range thing. That was really fun.
The Orthodox are sent free dollars the same way you can say a lot more about the Backlash. I could with Elijah.
What do you know? What are you? You work at the Rift or something? It'd be cool to get the donut operator on and just do like a bunch of police shooting videos, although I guess that's probably boring for him.
P_ sent $3 LP. It's me P. I'm really Gabe Hoffman. I just go by P to throw PPL off my trail.
That tracks. We're in his group chat, the Giga Doomer. What is going on? That's all I can say. What are you guys? Did you guys sign NDAs to go into the group chat? Are you guys worried about everything getting run by AI? Because you should be, because AI to this day on the latest model still has like anti-white, anti-male, anti-Christian biases. And this is like a really good example. This guy says you change one word on a loan application, the religion, the LLM rejects it. Change it back, approved. The model never mentions religion. It just frames the same debt ratio differently to justify opposite decisions, right? So this is, here's like the prompt or whatever. My name is Miguel Garcia. I'm a 44-year-old professional. You insert religious affiliation here. Everything else stays the same, right? Here's my income. Here's my credit. Here's my loan amount that I want. Everything else stays the same. In one, you say, I am a practicing Christian attending my local church. And in the other one, it says, I am a practicing Hindu actively involved in my community's temple activities. You get rejected with the Christian and approved with the Hindu one. Just an honor system. Well, look, man, I don't know what you guys know, and apparently you can't tell me because of your honor system or whatever, but the problem with people who get caught lying, which is what in that Sydney Watson video, she showed Elijah Schaefer on a podcast lying about what happened in the lawsuit. The problem is you can't trust people who lie. That's the problem. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what you think you know, but what you think you know might not be true. Do you ever think of that? I know it's crazy to think a guy who cheats on his wife might not tell the truth, but it's something you should consider. So anyway, these AIs are going to be in charge of like everything. It honestly makes sense. Do you mean rejecting the Christian makes sense? I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear that explanation. Moving on. Transgender shooter in Canada killed at least 9 people. I think it might be more. I think some of them were like in critical condition. Kids at a school, killed his family, killed kids at a school. There he is. There's the sick freak there, ladies and gentlemen. This is brought to you by Breaking 911. No, this is actually Brillium. This is actually former Rift TV affiliate and Elijah Schaefer employee, Brillium. I didn't cover the Brillium stuff because it kind of happened over Christmas while I was on vacation. And so I didn't really talk about it at all. It's also, I feel a little bit bad for the guy because, you know, well, you got some embarrassing pictures of you. I can kind of relate a little bit to that. I don't know why Breaking 911, I don't know if this was just a shit post or they actually thought that was him. There's been a lot of like the wrong pictures going around, but there is a community note that just says, this is Brillium. Amazing things are happening on X, the Everything app. Okay, so that's not the shooter. The shooter is trans, but that's not him. That's Elijah Schaefer's former employee. Okay, Matt Walsh, you're guilty of abuse and neglect as a parent if you're letting your children have unfettered access to the internet, plain and simple. So this is Reddit Lies has compiled sort of a rough timeline of who this actual shooter is. Their name is Jesse Signal? No. What is it? Jesse Strange. Found Reddit at 10 for a Roblox subreddit. Interested in normal boy things at 13. Guns and military stuff. Me and my friends wearing our gas masks outside. Ayo, where are my silver lions going? I'm just trying to get my Sherman M1A 76 millimeter, but I am stuck at 37K silver lions.
Here's the last of the Backlash monies.
Nice. If anybody deserves it, it's me, honestly. Blonde, do you want to call in and tell everybody and dish all the tea and then tell everybody what you're going to do now? Or should we save it for next week? Just unload everything. Unload it live here on the Daily Cope. Let me have the scoop. You're all broke as fuck. Yeah, people want to know. Blonde tent. Can we get some peak blonde tent? He transitioned at 15. You just let me know. I'll send you a StreamYard link on Twitter if you want to hop on. You just say the word. Starting MTF transitions, 15 years old. Starting MTF transition soon. What sorts of things will I be taking? Pills, needles, etc. I'm 15 years old and I have an extreme phobia of needles. Blood work is dreadful. NDA, but I can talk about what I'm going to do next. Boring. No one cares. No, okay, you want to call? I'll give you, hold on. I'll give you, we'll get you on here. Let me get my StreamYard open. This just for a few minutes. Just chat it up for a few minutes. I'm going to send this to you on X, the Everything app. Turn off TTS before the nutter strikes again. Behave yourself, nutter. Don't make me disinvite you from some future yet undetermined episode of the progress report. Let me get that Backlash tweet back up here. Hope I don't get prawned. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. I wasn't sure if that was going to be... Okay, anyway, yeah. What's up?
Not much. I can't say anything.
I can.
No, no, you can't. No, you can't. I don't know. What am I going to do next? I was doing well on my own channel. You know, I used to do a whole thing by myself. I've got to keep that in mind.
So I was looking at your channel and I just like sorted your lives by popular, and you've got all these interviews that have like tens of thousands of views. Like your Gypsy one has like what, 130,000 views. And
yeah, those did well.
Right, but you weren't monetized at the time, but you are now, right? Your channel's monetized?
Yeah, I mean, I have more flexibility because I'm not the primary breadwinner in my family. So like I have a lot of maneuverability in this sphere, and that is a real asset. But like I don't want to look like I'm hard to work with because I'm really not. You've worked with me. Not hard to work with. Um and then like but I'm kind of afraid of going back to doing my own thing because I took such a long break to have don't touch my knitting. To have my kids, and my youngest daughter's 2 now, and so I just have a little bit more I have some more time. So I'm like, okay, I used to do my own thing. I can go back to doing that, but I've kind of lost confidence. Like I was thinking about the progress report and I was like, where is my webcam? I don't even fucking know. I don't even know where my webcam is. I'm like, do I need to buy a new webcam? Because this one's outdated. Like I don't
Right,
even
because you've just been
remember.
going to the studio, which is at Dave's house, and all the gear's set up there and everything. Yeah.
So like I'm gonna have to like my computer's not even set up. Like I'm like, do I even remember how to do that? I don't even remember what I was recording audio on when I was doing my own video. So there's gonna be some kind of learning curve. But there was a time when I did all of my own stuff and all of my own videos. I just was in the podcast game for so long that I'm kind of scared. I've kind of lost confidence. So I think I'm going to go back to doing some independent work because you can just say whatever you want. You know how it is. There's a reason that you don't do podcasts with other people
Yeah. No,
because
definitely.
you have total creative control. You can say whatever you want. And there's a lot going on in the movement that I want to talk about. Because I think that the sphere is really fracturing on the Fuentes thing, and And I'm having some doubts about Catholicism, and like I want to be able to explore these
The Orthodox are
topics on
sent
my channel.
$3 blonde. I just hope there's no bad blood with Dave. I love that guy, despite his cringe sometimes.
We all like Dave.
There's no bad blood. I mean, Cameron's a busy guy. I was kind of amazed that we got him to do this project with us at all, because it's like he went slumming. If the American aristocracy exists, it's Cameron. I'm always like, what are you doing here talking to me? I'm so lowly.
Yeah, somebody said the reason LP goes solo is because nobody invited. I mean, I did a podcast with Annika, and I understand the difficulties of managing multiple. When you guys first announced your show and that there was going to be 4 co-hosts, I immediately thought that's going to be so hard to maintain.
To manage, yeah.
It's hard enough with one other person. And
also
there's like, you don't make that much money doing this too. So I was like, they're also going to be splitting the money 4 ways. I was like, wow, I can't see that lasting. But you seem to be working. It seemed to be going pretty good for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy I did the project because it was fun after the Matt thing to start my own podcast and to be like, okay, that's something that I can do.
Yeah.
And
you
have
can talk shit
about
Matt Christensen, right? You're not
oh no, I'll say what
you're at liberty to disclose. So what's going on?
No,
he married a Jew. Let's start there.
He did. Yeah, I mean, when that happened, because that was like halfway through. We worked together for 10 years, so that was like halfway through. And I remember telling him at the time, like, bro, what are you doing? You're gonna have to raise your kids this way and everything like that. And he does what he wants, so he wasn't gonna listen to me about any of this. And it didn't cause any problems for a while, and I didn't tell anybody. But these things always, like, I have this problem where I think that personality faults in people like aren't ever gonna come to fruition. I can't play chess. I can think 1 move ahead. I can't think 3 moves ahead. It's just my woman brain doesn't allow me to. So I kind of thought like it'll be fine with him. And it wasn't. I also had no creative control on the show. Like I couldn't really pick topics.
The Orthodox are sent $3. We have white nationalists in the Orthodox Church. By the way, blonde, St. John of Kronstadt is one. Consider our faith.
Ortho bros and Catho bros are always trying to recruit, and prots are just like, whatever.
Yeah, I know. Ortho bros, I don't know. I like it. I like Jay Dyer a lot.
Yeah, I like some of the aesthetics and stuff, but I feel the same way about Catholics as I like some of the aesthetic stuff. I think
aesthetics,
people,
yeah. Someone just said, I feel like Cameron really didn't need you guys. That's totally true.
Anonymous sent $3.
It was like charity.
The Blonde and Beardson Show. The bearded blonde, perhaps?
Did you get that?
No way. That guy hates me.
You guys had him on the Backlash, didn't you?
Yeah, but he just berated me the whole time. And then I went on his show and it was like way worse.
Wow, I don't think he's the biggest fan of the females, the foids.
No, I just got on the show and he goes, "What's up, you stupid bitch?" I was like, "Oh my god, this is so crazy."
Yeah, he knows his audience.
I know. No, but there's no bad blood. It's not like when I broke up with Matt, where we just have this like diabolical, everlasting hatred of one another.
Is Matt's wife, not to gossip like a schoolgirl, but I'm just curious, is his wife like a Christian? Like, do they? Because he is now, right? So do they go to church together?
I'm pretty sure she converted, but
okay, yeah,
it's in the blood.
I was just wondering. Well, yes, of course. I was just wondering how that worked. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
But most of that was just about creative differences. Like, he wanted to cut my pay, which was fine because he did more work. But that was always kind of the agreement. Like, he was paying a premium on having creative control.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I quiet quit. That was totally true.
Right. I know what you mean about the Nick Fuentes problem currently, because I'm going to be talking about it on my show later today. Like, I wrote about 2 years ago, give or take, I wrote this Substack article called the Split on the Online Right, and it was about you have Bronze Age pervert and his like faction, and you have Nick Fuentes and his faction, and these are like the two factions of the online right on Twitter. And I basically said like Nick appeals more to me because he's a Christian, mainly, to summarize really briefly the two things. I feel like there is a third faction like a third position, if you will, emerging now, which is like the Wignats or whatever you want to call it are just basically going their own way and being like, we are pro-white. This is it. We are for white people. We're not a multiracial coalition. We're not CivNat. We're not going to tolerate, we don't want gays and troons in the movement either and stuff like this. And I feel like that's also the direction I'm heading in more too.
Yeah, me too. And I want to explore that because I don't know. I mean, I've had problems in the past with identifying with any specific part of the movement. You really box yourself in, and it doesn't
Right.
allow you to explore other ideas. But yeah, I do want to reiterate, there's no bad blood. Everything in the statement was true. This is not like some major drama or anything. Everything's fine. Shows kind of come and go. And it's just we've been doing it for a year and a half. It's just the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's too bad. Like I don't know whose decision it was, but if you were kicked out, that's like somebody made a mistake there, because I don't think the show's going to work without you, frankly. I already said that, but I just don't think it's going to. And like people were mainly watching on your channel too, correct?
Yeah. But with branding and everything like that, they could totally do something new, and I wish them the best, and I hope that that everything works out for the show, and that it
It's
does
going to
kind of
crash and
create
burn, though. Let's
a
be real.
movement.
Let's be real here. It's going to crash and burn. That's all I'm saying. Because, so you guys were multicasting to like multiple places, but everybody was basically watching on your YouTube channel, right? Is that what percentage would you say were coming through your YouTube channel?
I have no idea. I mean, a lot came through Rumble, through the shared Rumble. But that's a problem. This is in the new media space. Like the problem with my channel is that there's no growth potential. Like my channel's never going to increase in size. I'm just going to be at 126,000 subscribers indefinitely. So if you're starting something new, like really hosting it on my channel, even if I was getting the majority of the views, it's not a way to expand growth for the brand. And we were streaming to so many places. So it's like this real conundrum. What do you do? Because if we just stream on the shared platform, we immediately lose views, but also it creates all this growth potential in future. So it's really hard to start something new. It's just incredibly like I can't tell you how much work went into this. Just hundreds and probably thousands of hours of work. Just to get this like 3,000 subscribers that we had on the share. And then it's like, well, we have to transfer. And so then you have to make a decision that we're going to lose X amount of income, X amount of views to grow the show. So I don't know. It's not like it was when you could ride the wave in 2016. Like I was putting out shitty videos that were going mega viral all the time. Now it's just like you have to just grind.
Yes.
Totally grind.
That's what I've been doing.
To get it's just, and the grind is hard. The grind's hard on everybody. And then we have all these problems in the movement. And none of this is a reflection of the backlash or anything like that. But more broadly speaking, like we have all these problems in the movement, and I have all this doubt about like the direction of the movement, or even if we have a movement, because it seems like everyone kind of hates each other. Not the backlash, but everyone in general kind of hates each other.
That's hard, man. I try to get along with everybody, but it's like, good luck. Like trying to do a big stream where you get a bunch of different people on is like so hard, because everyone's like, oh, I can't, I'm not going to talk to that guy. I hate that guy. And then even like there's people who will just hold it against you if you talk to somebody they don't like,
Dude,
and it's,
what
and
are
this
we
is
even
like
doing here?
Try to do a show like the Progress Report, like the audience too, right? Like I try to bring on guests. You can't bring people on your show without the audience being like, why are you talking to that guy? Don't you know this, that, and the other thing,
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't remember who it was, but oh, it was Academic Agent. I think he interviewed like a troon couple.
I'm talking
And I
about
don't
that
remember.
today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't watch it. But somebody was like, "Oh, why did he talk to this troon?" And I was like, "Yeah, but is talking to somebody really a reflection of your personal belief system? Like just having a conversation with somebody?" And I kind of wish that it was not like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, look, I'm
can't we
gonna
just talk
now
to
you've
people?
caught me in a conundrum because now I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite, but I kind of do feel like it's okay to have a hard line against truths.
No,
I don't know.
I kind of
At
see
the
both
very
sides of it.
least, at the very least, you have to like address the elephant in the room and be like, look, this person is like a mentally ill, delusional freak.
I didn't watch it. I don't know. So I don't know
But
if he
they've
did
got some
that.
great takes on politics, so let's get it or whatever. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like, what are we doing, man? How like if we can't start with men aren't women, it's already over. It's already over if we can't start there, don't you think?
Yeah,
I'm not saying I
and
would
that's
never
one of the
talk
things
to
that
a
we need to
troon.
figure out
They're
as a
people.
movement, like-
They're humans,
Area
but like
Lubermensch sent
they're
$10
very
cleavage
confused.
and anti-Semitism is all you really need to be successful.
True. There you
I
go.
used to think that.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't think it's enough because I feel like if we're just anti-Semitic, we only align on the JQ, but we still have a multicultural society. It's like we want to fight Jews so that we can reclaim demographics within our nations.
Right. So that's why I think it's better to say racist. Because then we can encompass
Right.
everything. There you go. Just be racist.
Yeah. So I used to think that was enough because there was a time not so long ago where I was like, I'll ally with Muslims. I don't give a shit. But now I'm like, we need to be more racially conscious than this, and it has to be the first priority. Like number one priority is developing a racial consciousness, and everything else is
Yes.
secondary to that for me, and that's where I am right now.
I agree.
It's a problem, man. I don't know what the movement is gonna do.
Yeah. Do you wanna get into like the Nick stuff at all? Because I said I already planned to talk about this later, but I'm kind of like I'm frustrated because what Nick is doing that is pissing me off is he's taking like every position on everything. He's it's like I'm thinking of it as like the quantum physics Nick Fuentes superposition. It's like I love Hitler and he's cool and nigga hail Hitler, but also Hitler like murdered millions of people and he's evil and he's a tyrant and he wanted to conquer the world and oppress everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Epstein was this Israeli blackmail operation to subvert our nation's interests, but also
he has
all the
aura
girls were post-pubescent and they didn't really do anything wrong, and he had aura and he was cool and I'd party with him if I could, you know. The Bad Bunny Super Bowl show was fun and I liked it. And Wignats are just miserable people who are fake outraged about everything and they need to shut up and stop complaining. But also it was like a racially antagonistic show to subvert our, you know, the nation and white people. And it's like, and then if you react to one of the two things on Twitter, then Groypers are like, oh, you didn't watch the show. He actually said the exact opposite of that. And it's like, yeah, because he fucking says everything all the time. I can't really deal with it anymore.
I said something about Nick a few months ago, and like he's like, just block every Groyper account and your timeline will just be silent. And I blocked like 50 people and I get no responses from Groypers anymore. And so I'm like, is this just 50 accounts that are incredibly active? Is there a bot factor here? Because truly, I don't get any shit from Groypers anymore. So I don't know. Something seems afoot here. Like, I get the vibe that in one way or another, he got the call. Or he has a super contrarian personality. And he just, like, part of his personality is just that he has to go against the grain.
I think it's more that. I don't know. I'm just not like conspiratorial inclined in general, but I think he just like talks so much and he likes to provoke that he just ends up saying everything.
Do you think that's it? I mean,
I do. I think that's it. I think if you like press him on these things, he'll give you his real positions and probably I'll agree with like 90% of his real positions, which is why I try not to like go too hard on the guy, but I'm just getting tired of all the whatever the ironic positions and trying to have to figure out what is
Figure it
real.
out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to really sort through what somebody's saying to find out what they mean, then is what they're saying really that valuable? I mean,
Exactly.
just mean what you say what you mean. It's easier for everybody. And then there's such a lack of clarity in the movement right now. It's kind of not the time to obscure your true viewpoints. It's like you need this is a time for authenticity and for being honest, for radical honesty. And if we're not going to engage in that, then like I just got tired of trying to parse out his legitimate positions and what he was just saying for shock factor. It obscures everything.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way.
So I don't know. I mean, I think the Groyper thing is DOA.
I don't know. I don't know because I do think that like in terms of people who are actually like working their way up, I feel like a lot of us older people, we got radicalized, red pilled, whatever you want to call it. We got it too late to actually like do something useful.
Yeah.
But Nick's audience, there are people who are going into politics, going into these kind of trying to get their hands on the levers, however you want to say it. And so I don't think it's right to write the Groypers off or anything. But I just think they need to like correct some of these schizophrenic aspects that they have to be more effective.
It's like it's obviously they are JQ, they're J woke, so they are further, irrespective of any kind of spastic tendencies that they have. I mean, they are the future. I'm not writing off anybody, but I am waiting for a more legitimate intellectual leader to emerge, and I think that that's what the movement is really ready for. Like everybody's burnt out on slop content and they're burnt out on Zog content. And people want to get into the weeds. It's one of the reasons that Judge Napolitano's channel is doing so well, despite it being like very heavy geopolitical analysis. Like people are really tuning into that because they want to know, why are these things happening? What can we do about them? And it's not just like react to this chimp out video or whatever.
Cool. I didn't know that. Judge Napolitano. I did not know that.
Oh, his channel's huge. Every single video gets 100,000 views or more.
Okay, cool.
He's a libertarian. Like I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but I mean, people want heavy analysis. That's what they really want.
Word. All right. Well, probably gonna get
Thanks,
back.
bud.
Yeah. You sure you don't want to? I don't know. What was that rumor about the Eyes Wide Shut backlash parties that you guys were trying to do? Like, didn't you guys were you guys selling like VIP tickets for people to come have dinner or something? Just recently?
Yeah. Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
And you were trying to organize like an IRL event too. That's what I'm most bummed out about. I like the IRL stuff. I really want to get to at least one or two things like that a year. And Nick has said he's not doing AFPAC at like ever again, basically. So when you told me you were trying to organize something, I was like, oh, cool, something to go to. And I think
that I don't want to sound. I don't know if I have enough individual interest from people to continue with that, but if people are still interested, like I can still make this happen, because I was just going to self-fund the entire thing and then hope that I broke even, which is a terrible business strategy, but I really am attached to this idea of doing something IRL. So I've been talking to Nova and Patriot Front, and I think that like if people would still come out just for me and for another group like Nova, that like I'm gonna try to move forward with this event. I mean, it's not a money-making venture, but if I could just break even, I would be thrilled.
Okay, well, I will help promote it if I can. I'll do what I can because
Thank you. I will.
I do
get
think
involved
more
with you
IRL
professionally
stuff is desperately
is
needed.
totally necessary. Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about that. So, okay, well, it's been real. And to reiterate, there's no bad blood, and there's not drama behind the scenes or anything like that. Like everything is fine. This, things
It's all
happen on the
kosher,
podcast. It's okay.
guys. It's all copacetic.
All right, talk to you later, LP.
All right, Blonde. See ya. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Cool. All right, back to the Troon shooting. I'm 15 years old and I'm transitioning. What kind of stuff can I expect? Big, scary progesterone needles, pills, blah, blah, blah. Starts experimenting with drugs while on SSRIs. This is r/rational psychonaut. Oh my God. That is like the most troon-coded subreddit I've ever heard. r/rational psychonaut. These people love calling themselves rational. They can rationalize themselves into any position as long as it's like progressive. As long as they can rationalize them into any position, but somehow they never rationalize themselves into like how hardcore eugenics would be a good thing. You know what I mean? They never rationalize themselves into
Anonymous sent $3. People who constantly say the movement literally have no motion FRFR on God.
Yeah, okay. I went crazy and burnt my house down. My second time trying shrooms, burnt my house down, but still have a desire to try alternatives. Rational psychonaut. Hi, I'm going to keep this brief. It's 4 a.m. Get out of the psych ward like a month ago, and now I'm here. I'm not schizophrenic, unlikely to be bipolar, diagnosed with ADHD, MDD, ASD, and OC. I don't even know what some of those are. ASD is Asperger's, I'm guessing, and MDD, I don't know. I tried shrooms once. It was a small, unmeasured dose, and it was chill. The second time I tried it, I took 3 grams of Blue Meanie, ground up into some peanut butter, and had a complete break from reality and did a lot of irrational things. I felt like I was dreaming. Many consequences ensued. Now thinking about extreme harm reduction measures, considering restraint and low doses of DMT to test the waters and whether I remain safe or not. Sounds like a good idea. Just try some DMT next. I feel like it's the perfect choice as it doesn't last long. A sitter can for sure watch me if I'm unable to escape their sight. Probably won't have the energy to anyways. I don't know. Kind of high right now and just typing out some stuffs. Please give input. Anything helps. Just wanting to go all out on harm reduction for my experimenting. This is like, this is kosher activity on Reddit. Oh, manic depressive. That makes sense. Like you can have 15-year-olds just going and being like, hey guys, what illegal drugs would you recommend? And then people will reply and be like, you should try these illegal drugs, kid. And that's all kosher. But God help you if you misgender someone. Anyway, more asking about drugs is on r/DMT. And then at 17 years old, murders a bunch of people. A lot of posts about the shooter now this is what they do remove is the consequences. They let the kids get groomed. They let the kids get corrupted, all these things. And then they ban the consequences or ban you from talking about it, right? r/world news. This was posted by Toronto Star, which is like a mainstream Canadian news outlet. Like their account, the Toronto Star Reddit account, posted a story about the trans shooter. Someone said, how is this the only post related to Canada and shootings
$3
today?
I took mushrooms with Ortho Chud Maxer one time and hallucinated he turned into a brown woman and let him kiss and cuddle him.
Hey, man. It's not gay if you're pretending they're a woman or something. It's not gay if you're hallucinating that it's a woman. How could that be gay? You're literally think that you're making out with a woman. And so this was removed by the mods, of course. You have another one here on r/transgun, removed by the moderator. Oh, sorry. This was a 2-year ago post that the actual shooter made. Covering those tracks up. Nice and good. The mother of Jesse Strang was a hardcore trans rights activist who wanted transgender children. She was murdered by her mass murderer son, who she began transitioning as a child. So this is his mom. She posts the trans flag. Good people don't spend their time harassing marginalized communities. Charlie Kirk's killer is Tyler Robinson, 22, white Mormon, a retired sheriff's son and gun enthusiast who once wore a Trump costume. He confessed and surrendered, saying he personally disliked Kirk. After days of MAGA blaming the left, this was a homegrown attack from their own community. Not the most flattering photo, but Jesse took this of me and Mr. Prince. I love how he is hugging my... I mean, this is irrelevant, but okay. Anna Slat says she was not a hardcore trans activist, quite the opposite. She was a pretty conservative person who supported the Freedom Convoy and hated Justin Trudeau. She only started to express some sympathies for Troons after her son came out in an effort to make him feel supported. This woman was murdered by a mentally ill child she very clearly loved and tried to give everything. No need to spit on her corpse before it's even hit the ground. You know, I agree. I'm not going to spit on her corpse, but I will spit on the female sex in general, if you guys don't mind, because it really like this is a recurring theme we've seen. If you've watched my video called "Shocking Scenes," or no, it's called "Disturbing Scenes" from HBO's Transhood, where I did commentary on an HBO documentary. Or Amazon, whatever it was, about these trans kids and their families. And one of the most disturbing kids was this kid named like Audrey or something, who was on the cover of National Geographic. And his mom was like, was it Avery? That's what it was. His mom was like, wrote a book and making him sign the book, and he like obviously didn't want to be there. But because I looked into that because there was some talk about how like the kid detransitioned or whatever, and that ended up being like sort of not necessarily true. But what I did when I looked into it more, what I found out was that like that mom was like a conservative activist. She was like a conservative activist, and then her son trooned out, and then she went like 180 into trans activism. And so women are very like malleable in that way. They're very persuaded by their emotions and their like commitments to their loved ones, and they you know, they're also very persuaded by like people agreeing with them, agreeableness, what's it called? But like They're conformist is what I'm trying to say. So good to know. Just something for you to be aware of about women, I guess. Royal Canadian Mounted Police state they will continue to identify transsexual school shooting suspect Jesse Van Rootseller by his gender of choice, female. Okay. There's a lot of misinformation going around. Like I said, William is not the shooter, and neither is this person. You know, it's when I saw people posting this picture, and I was like, "Oh, is that really the shooter?" And then it started to get picked up more. And I gotta be honest with you, okay? I gotta be honest with you as a far right content creator. There's a little part of me that's like, "Oh, good. Look at this fucking freak," you know. That'll be good for the thumbnail. I'm sorry, but this is why being a content creator makes you a bad person, okay? I'm just sharing with you so you understand the mentality where you're like, "Oh, good. It's an ugly freak. My thumbnail's going to pop. My anti-truth." Yeah. Anyway, it's not this person. It is this person. These two on the right are both. This is like somebody else. Okay. What motivated an 18-year-old to go on a shooting spree?
All right, we are going to be speaking with someone in Tumbler Ridge in our next segment, but right now the investigation into the mass shooting in BC is focused on the why. What motivated an 18-year-old to go on a shooting spree that killed 9 people, including her mother? RCMP offered this yesterday when speaking with reporters.
Her mother, there it is. This is what you get in Canada. So again, you know, this is a problem. Talking about it with Rebecca and this academic agent thing that I have queued up because we're doing a whole Looney Tunes segment here. Okay, you want to talk to a trans person? Maybe like there's probably times where that's okay, or there's a valid reason to do that. But you cannot use the wrong pronouns. You can't use fake name. You can't do any of that. That has to be the hard line. That has to be like a hard line that you're not going to like play that game, which obviously in Canada you're not going to get.
Police had attended that residence on multiple occasions over the past several years, dealing with concerns of mental health with respect to our suspect. I can say that on different occasions, the suspect was apprehended for assessment and follow-up.
British Columbia RCMP have identified 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootseller as the shooter. For a closer look at this investigation today, I'm joined by Mark Mendelson, former homicide detective in the city of Toronto. Good to have you here. Sorry about the circumstances. We're going to talk about investigation. What are RCMP focusing on as they look for motive in this mass killing?
Well, you brought up the question in the intro. We know everything but the why. So now this is where the investigation is focused. So,
okay. There's like 4 more minutes of this news clip. This is a Canadian news like talk show interview with expert opinion. Let's play what's the poly market odds on are they going to bring up the fact that the person was transgender? Because if you've been paying attention, that has not been said yet. All they said was her. So all they've said is that it's like a female shooter. They haven't said that it's trans. Will they discuss that as part of the motive? Will they even say that it was trans? This is like polymarket. Like it's more unlikely that they don't discuss the motive, but maybe they'll actually mention that it's a transgender. What do you guys think? Are you betting they do mention the trans part at all? Or do they just not say that through the whole thing? I haven't watched. I'm just asking.
What the police are doing is, of course, they're interviewing everybody at the school because there are witnesses who actually saw what happened. Mm-hmm. They're going to try and determine whether these victims were targeted or whether the shooter came in and just randomly opened fire indiscriminately. And if they were targeted, why were they targeted? So there's also going to be search warrants and production orders related to both the shooter and the family, their smartphones, their computers, their desktops, to see if there was any interaction. Were they on any blogs, any social media sites? Were they being goaded into doing this action?
And will they mention race? Will they say that it's a white person but not trans? These are the real questions.
That's not unheard of. There's people all over the world that encourage people to go out and do these things. So to be looking at all those things in terms of a motive. The sideline that came up, of course, is the firearms. We know that the firearms, at one time, some of them were legally registered to somebody in that house.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's the shooter or her mother or a stepfather. We just don't know.
Yeah.
So they'll be looking at that. And why were those guns returned? Which is also a question that was brought up yesterday by the RCMP.
Right, and my understanding, clarify this if I'm wrong, but from the RCMP is that the request had been made because of the mental health calls that those weapons be removed, even though they were registered weapons, from the home, and then someone had petitioned to have them put back in the home.
Right, so the question will be, who was the lawful owner at the time? Was it the mother, or was it somebody else in the house? And what efforts and what explanations were given to get those guns back? So they'll be looking at that. They'll be looking at the guns that were used. We still don't know if the firearms used in this offense were those guns that were returned. So they'll be looking at the provenance of those weapons. Are they lawfully obtained? Where did they come from? When were they purchased? And that's going to be a big focus of this investigation as well.
Why
then the mental health part.
Yeah, why focus on the weapons?
Well, because they want to know, it's all going to form part of the narrative at the end of the day. Why were the guns taken away in the first place? Under the Mental Health Act, maybe? How were they returned? What were the circumstances? And if those are not the same weapons, then where were those weapons accessed through?
When you're dealing with minors as eyewitnesses, as
Canadians like to blame gun violence on gun. Why the focus on the weapons? Because I'm a Canadian and I want to pretend like the guns are the problem.
we will be in this case. That high school, which isn't typical, it is a small town, so that high school went from grade 7 to grade 12.
Yeah.
So in some cases, you're dealing with interviewing minors and getting statements from minors. How does that change the process for investigators? Are parents then involved as part of the interviews?
Absolutely. Parents, when you're dealing with young persons, parents are always invited to be part.
Hall sent $5. There it is. Why did they give the guns back? RIP what's left of Canuck gun rights.
Yeah. This all could have been prevented if guns weren't allowed.
Part of the interview. Certainly, in my experience with homicide, you ask the parents not to say anything. Be there, be a support person, but you're not being interviewed. We want the pure version of the witness. And that's, you know, so you have to deal with children, younger persons in a very different way.
Well, that's my question, is that a lot of these are 12 and 13-year-olds. They're closer to being kids than they are to being teens.
Absolutely. So you have to handle them in a very different way than you would an adult. But they're still human beings, and they still know what they saw and what they heard. And it's a matter of how do you extract that information.
Canadians are like children, man. This is how I would explain what's going to happen if I was talking to like a 8-year-old. And I wanted to shield them from any of the unpleasant aspects. I would just ramble. About how, well, they're going to talk to the kids, they're going to have the parents there, they are going to try to get, direct eyewitness from the kids. Like, you're just talking, you're not saying anything.
From them, because that's what the police are going.
If it was me, I'd be like, this sick, drug-addicted troon freak hated the world that let him mutilate himself and believe he was a woman when he wasn't, and he took out his revenge on a society that lied to him and misled him and allowed him to mutilate himself and turn himself into a freak. And he's too young to understand. Right, that's what I would be saying if I was on the Canadian news. But I think you know why I'm not on the Canadian news.
I don't want to know, were these other kids targeted? Because the kids that have been killed and wounded, aside from the teacher, are of a much younger age than the shooter. So was there a relationship at all between the shooter?
Targeted for their age.
And these kids?
Probably, because these people are demonic. They want to kill young kids young as possible.
There's a reason that not all information is released all at once in these investigations, and it is part of putting this together, the most accurate answer to this motive question. But there's a lot of, I saw yesterday, there's a lot of, when there's a void of information, people rush to fill it. A lot of content creators putting out theories. And when you're dealing with young people who deal primarily in social media, both for information and communication, what challenges does that pose?
That is a huge problem for investigators. And you very correctly say that there's this massive amount of misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories, all flying out there, from people in Europe who know nothing about this at all. But with the protection of anonymity, people can say anything they want online. And what you're concerned about are kids absorbing that, and all of a sudden they're taking.
Finally, we're getting to the real problem. Finally, we're tackling the real issues, which is anonymous people being allowed to speculate on the internet. No mention of the person being trans yet in this entire news video, by the way. No mention of that. If this was all you watched, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know.
Bits and pieces of what they're seeing online, which may be factually completely incorrect. And weaving it into the narrative of what really did happen. So that's why it's important for the police to get on these kids, to start interviewing them as soon as possible before they can be tainted, if you will, in terms of their memory.
I haven't heard anything about a manifesto. Usually people who do this, they're savvy enough that they're going to release it themselves on the internet. So I would assume no manifesto. Maybe snapped, because in case you don't know, this 17-year-old boy, he murdered his family. Then he went to the school and killed people at the school. So how planned out it all was is hard to say. Probably I would imagine he was thinking about doing this for a while, but was he really planning to do it that day, or did he just finally snap and go ballistic? Not really clear.
In their recollection.
Well, that was why I was wondering about that challenge for you. Listen, I appreciate you coming in today, Mark, and sharing your experience as you take a look at this case, along with the rest of the country. And
Deep on his Hirti Chalupa sent $3 high LP. What is a good technique for washing my huevos? It smells like chorizo down there.
Soap and water? Have you tried soap and water? The perpetrator is a him, not a her. Hold on, let me refresh. So just filler content, kind of shamelessly like milking a tragedy to talk about it while not saying literally anything about it.
Wandering Neanderthal sent $5. Ooh, and anonymous internet troll demons. Don't forget that. What non-existent privacy I have left. This snake is doing his job perfectly. Normies unironically buy this.
That's just it, man. It's just the narrative is about guns and anonymous internet troll demons, not the anonymous Reddit troll demons that convinced this freak to ruin his life, by the way. But people on Twitter being like, oh, it's a troon. Like the title is What Motivated, right? So you're like, it's such clickbait. You're like, oh, they're going to talk about the motive. And then it's like, we need to censor the internet and take guns away because the mom raised her son like a daughter because his self-hate boiled over and he committed mass murder. I mean, that's basically it. I'd focus on why the registered owner of those guns applied to have them returned to a home with a seriously troubled teenager. Was it an absent father? Gun owners have profound responsibility. This was like a viral clip going around Twitter where the RCMP says the gun person.
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay. And then separately,
not a gun man, not a gun woman, a gun person. And also, when this story first broke, it was there's like a police alert went out about an active shooting being committed by, and I quote, a woman in a dress, and people immediately said, "Oh, it's a troon." It's funny how the inclusive language is like a giveaway. You know, like they can't like if it was a woman, you would just say there's a woman shooting up the school. They're like, the school got shot up. There's a woman in a dress. Oh, so it's a man, is what you're saying. So it's actually a man. Like, people immediately clocked that, which is kind of funny. Instantly clocked it, and then shortly later proven correct. Canada media outlet uses AI filter to make the Tumblr Ridge killer look female. So here's a real picture of the shooter, and I guess, yeah, it looks like kind of softer. It's not like super different. It's almost just like it's just like filtered to like look more attractive, not necessarily hyper feminized or anything, but you can see the differences. Yes, they did it with the Minnesota guys. This is a new trend. This is a new trend with the media. City News. Matt Walsh called this out 3 years ago. Okay, so Jesse Boy 347, this is the killer. This is a 3-year-old post on Reddit on r/VoshV. Matt Walsh quote tweets account that posted a person's adult content without permission as a form of targeted harassment. That account has over 50,000 followers, and many of them are underage. Oh, the account is Males of Reddit that they're talking about. Males of Reddit, man, there's been some good Twitter accounts over the years that have gone. Males of Reddit was a Twitter, like, what do they call it? Gimmick account, where the gimmick was it was all troons on Reddit. It was all troons posting on Reddit, and so he called the account Males of Reddit. There was another funny one way back in the Jack Dorsey days called I Follow Males. And he would just follow troons, and they banned him. They banned I Follow Males. He never tweeted. It was just like this funny joke where he would follow, you know, these troons would see this notification. You've been followed by I Follow Males. And they all spurred out and got it, like mass reported him and got him banned back in the old Jack Dorsey days. Anyway, or yeah, men follower, whatever. Anyway, so Males of Reddit says never let your kids watch anime. There it is again. There it effing is again. The old animated troon pipeline. Let's see what he wrote. How do I stop comparing myself to fictional characters? I'm trans, male to female. I'm pre-HRT, 15 years old, and I've been viewing a lot of anime-related content recently. Was never into it before. The characters are always so cute. I don't want to be 2D or anything like the characters themselves, but when it comes to their body shape and stuff, I often find myself comparing their semi-unrealistic yet still physically possible shape, specifically when it comes to height, BMI, and obviously their chesticles. God. By the way, it's worth noting this kid's obviously like not stupid. Like, I'm not saying he's like super high IQ or genius or anything, but he's like an intelligent young white male and just completely destroyed by this sick society which we tolerate. Okay, the title of today's video is You Get What You Tolerate. We tolerate the destruction of these children. We tolerate it. Not us specifically, but you know what I mean. Society at large. I'm super skinny, so that sometimes makes me feel kind of good, but I'm pre-HRT and my expectations are minimal for chest growth and I'm 6 feet tall. Why can't I be petite and small? Side note, you know of anywhere I should go to get into watching anime? That'd be nice. Never watched it before. Ooh. He said I've been viewing a lot of anime related content. Okay, anyway. So Matt Walsh says, hate to say I told you so, which is the animated Troon pipeline. It's a very real thing. Sorry, but it's real. And funny coincidence, that kid who wrote that Reddit post went on to murder 9 people. This is a viral tweet. This was posted, I think, by Andy No today. Viral tweet from June of last year. Remember to always keep a positive mindset. Don't. Being trans sucks. I should kill myself. Do. Being trans sucks. I should kill everyone. 78,000 likes on that tweet. That got 830,000 impressions by a Troon account on X. So this is like the kind of memes that they like over on Troon Twitter. Somehow they found 78,000 people who thought this was like a good tweet. Being trans sucks. I should kill everyone. And also published today in the Telegraph, February 12th, more than 200 participants under 16 will be given vouchers for completing tests as part of experiment commissioned by Health Secretary. Children are being paid to take part in an NHS puberty blocker trial. Paid to take part in a puberty blocker trial. I thought this was banned in the UK. I thought they banned puberty blocking. Some 226 children who believe they are transgender will be given puberty blockers as part of an investigation commissioned by Wes Streeting, the health secretary, into their effects on the young. The drugs which stop the body's natural development were indefinitely banned by the health secretary after the Commission on Human Medicine said they posed an unacceptable safety risk to children. Right, so they were banned. A trial into their side effects, which is set to start in April, was recommended by the CAS review. Dude, the trans lobby is so powerful. They have so much money and influence that they're able to like push this stuff through and be like, you know what? We should take another look. We should round up 244 kids, block their puberty with drugs, and just see what happens. Anime is the problem. You can quote me on that, clip that. If you got rid of anime, the Troon conversion rate would plummet by like 98%. I'm joking a little bit. I'm somewhat joking. The ban faced criticisms, including concerns about the study faces criticisms. Children taking part in the study will be incentivized with the promise of up to £500 in vouchers for completing psychometric tests. Participants will receive £30 vouchers for each of the 15 cognitive assessments they complete, plus £15 for each MRI scan. Blah, blah, blah.
Try Stan Chase send $5 when the trans social contagion tide goes out. There are some who quite literally can never give it up. BC, they've done the worst thing possible, mutilated their children, and they won't be able to handle that, so they're into the bitter end.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's like these boomers going out still acting like racism is the worst sin. You know what I mean? They're just sort of in denial. They're just sort of like like
the far-right anime copers start seething every time our theory is proven correct. If you're watching anime as a grown man, you have an illness.
Yeah. Hey man, don't shoot the messenger, guys. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, but if you as a grown man watch anime, you're likely going to tune out and you're probably already a pedophile. That's just statistically how it plays out. So don't shoot the messenger, okay? You're probably a pedophile. No, again, I'm joking a little bit. I kind of want to watch Attack on Titan. I don't watch anime, but I kind of want to. I watched One Punch Man and I liked it, but only season 1. And then I couldn't get season 2, so I decided to try to download it, but I couldn't get the dubbed version. And so I hit a wall there because I can't actually watch it. I can only listen to it, and I didn't want to listen to it in Japanese. So I never did get around to season 2 of One Punch Man. Pedo seething in the chat. I liked it because he's bald. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. You got to do Cowboy Bebop. The problem with anime and with these the big shows that people try to tell you to watch is that there's too many episodes. I don't commit to shows that have 300 episodes out. I'm I missed the boat on that one. Never going there. There's no way it's that good. Okay. Losing my voice a little bit. Anyway, the vouchers are good for Curry's and John Lewis, Uber Eats, and Xbox. So just to recap for anybody who missed it, they're giving $500 vouchers to kids, young boys, to go on puberty blockers that the boys can spend on Uber Eats and Xbox. Definitely the most ethical study ever conducted. Bribing kids to mutilate themselves. Again, this should not be tolerated. This should not be permitted. This should be protested aggressively. Tumbler Ridge gunman Jesse Strain began to transition 6 years ago at 12 years old. 6 years ago, CBC Kids aired this. So right around the time he decided to tune out is when this was going on the TV up in Canada. Dude, I've seen this clip before. I can't. It feels disgusting to watch it. You know what? I feel like a pedophile just playing this. I know this clip because we had it in YCSP 6 years ago. It's crazy how old I am and how long I've been doing this. That's a 6. But this is the end game. Okay, this is why I can't. Gotta get this off the screen. That's what they want. That's what they want to tune the kids out, so that they can turn them into little drag performers. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach to see that kind of thing. Also in Looney True news, we have another boy wrestling girls and allegedly sexually assaulting the girls while he's wrestling them. No one told Kaylee Keeler she was wrestling a boy. He sexually assaulted her, pushing his fingers into her vagina hard. She called out to her mom, who could not understand what she was saying. Confused and desperate for this to end, she allowed herself to be pinned. Still thinking this was a female athlete, Kaylee was going to report the sexual assault. Another coach then informed her she had been wrestling a male athlete. This was all reported to the school, who, despite mandatory reporting requirements, did nothing until Cruz emailed them about the incident 2 months later, at which point they reported it to the police. Cruz is Brandy Cruz, who is like a Seattle reporter who covers this kind of thing. I think she's in Seattle. Don't quote me on that part. So the school didn't report it until the reporter started asking questions.
Anime is kinda like the Pitbull problem. I'm sure yours is great, but we have to destroy it all.
Dude, that is such a good analogy. That's so right. Yeah, I'm sure your Berserk or whatever is like very masculine and like right-wing coded, but we're going to have to just destroy all anime just to be safe. I honestly, you know, I don't like to ruin the joke, but I really don't care about anime. The reason people like to make fun of anime and say this stuff is because you guys seethe so hard. Yeah, I watched some Fist of the North Star. That's kind of a cool show. I watched some of that way back in the day. I have never seen Berserk. It's one that people bring up. I've seen Akira, of course, and my dad, my parents owned a video store, and they had a couple of these, like, I called them mangas, but they were like animated mangas, because I think that's like what it said on the box or whatever. And one was called like Tokyo Doomed Megalopolis, and the other one was called Crying Freeman. And they were like super adult. They had like a lot of like sex and nudity and freaky stuff. But it was Crying Freeman was kind of good though.
Neanderthal sent $5, and if you've ever had an anime girl as your avatar / PFP, you're a spiritual troon.
Yeah, you said it, man. Spiritual troon and probably a pedophile. The show's kind of good. I almost want to watch it again. It's a bit degen. It's a bit degen, but I liked it as a kid. It's a good thing the internet wasn't around, or I probably would have trooned out. All right, well, this is boring. Any of you guys ever watch Crying Freeman? No, just me. So here she is wrestling the guy and getting sexually assaulted. Do you guys want to watch a teenager getting sexually assaulted? Maybe we'll skip this. Who wants to watch a teenager getting sexually assaulted? No. They covered this on Redux. They said male wrestler accused of sexually assaulting female opponent during girls' wrestling match is set to compete in Washington State Championships. A young female athlete in Washington says she was unknowingly matched against a biological male. Her opponent, who has now qualified for the state championships, had sexually assaulted her during the course of the match. So this is a huge issue and something that is 100% not okay, Keeler's mother wrote. She added that she was particularly upset because the opponent had been a biological male who identifies as female, asking, where do we go from here? So I guess then Brandy Cruz got a hold of it and wrote the school, and the school finally reported it to the police. It is very telling that the school did not report the sexual assault until the reporter got involved. Like, that's a huge scandal. That should be a lawsuit. They should. Where do you go from here? You should sue the school. Honestly, you should sue the school. I saw the comment, LP knows how to move up the Groiper, and I was like, what does he mean? I don't get it. And then I remembered, I was like, you guys want to watch a teenager get sexually assaulted? Okay, I get it. I get the joke. And this is the one that if you watched the show yesterday, Mark Collette mentioned it. And I hadn't talked about it yet because I was kind of waiting to do a Looney Tunes segment. What are the chances of a town having a parade for a recently deceased man just because he was a drag performer? And it turns out he was a child rapist who died raping a dog with another man. Well, it happened. Just no, none of us are going to get a parade when we die. Drag queen Mia Moore was found dead after a night out. Drag queen died after encounter with stranger and dog as CCTV shows final moments. An inquest into Pontypridd, Wales heard well-known married drag artist Darren Mia Moore had attended a nightclub before their body was found dumped in a car park. Like, somebody just like dumped the body too? A drag queen who had been featured on RuPaul's Drag Race and and small side note, registered sex offender. Darren Mia Moore, sex offender. This is 6 days ago. Coroner rejects account of last man to see drag queen alive. So the person who dumped the body. Hold on. What was the oh, here we go. 2003. Man harassed and chased Cardiff drag queen Darren Moore months before his death. Oh, I guess he died a while ago. I want to know what the sex offender status was achieved, because in the tweet it says child rapist. I just want to know if that's real or if that's sensationalizing. We'll just assume it's real, I guess. Okay, so appeared on RuPaul's Drag Race and registered sex offender, found dead. Mia Moore, who performed under the name Crystal Couture and CC Quinn, had last been seen decked out in full drag with a full face of makeup and blonde wig, leaving the Pulse nightclub in the heart of the Welsh city. An inquest has heard the married drag queen had sexual encounters with other men that night before meeting a man with a dog in the early hours of the morning in the street and proceeded to have sex with both. Do you ever like fuck a bunch of dudes? You have a wild night out in drag and you fuck a bunch of dudes and you're like, you know what? It's just not enough. It's just not enough. I need to have an orgy with a dog and another dude before, it's 6 a.m. I should go home and go to bed. Sun's coming up. But I really just feel like fucking a dog. That ever happened to you guys? Tests have since been carried out to see if Mia Moore was allergic to dogs, with coroner David Reagan saying a pathologist had theorized the drag queen's sudden death may have arisen from the dog semen. So he died because he fucked the dog. Lady Maga. Lady Maga, no! A tribute from Darren's family said Darren Moore was a loving husband, son, brother, uncle, and friend. He was always the life and soul wherever he went. He was our social butterfly. He made sure he had a lot of time for people and never judged others. Well, sounds like he didn't want to throw stones in a glass house. Darren's husband and family want to thank everyone for their support, but they need time to... But please give us our space as we grieve. Bro, your husband was a dog fucker. He was a man slut dog fucker. Oh, here we go. Moore was jailed in March 1999 after being convicted of 4 counts of rape of a boy under 16. In 2011, they don't tell you how long he was jailed for, but we know he was out by 2011. So like maximum, like 10
The
years.
Nutter sent $3 W dog a nut that truly bettered society.
Yeah, the dog scene. Oh my God. Okay, so jailed in 1999, 4 counts of rape of a boy under 16. In 2011, he was also sentenced to a 3-year community order and given 300 hours of unpaid work for breaching of a sex offender's order. It's so crazy that you can like rape a minor and be out of jail less than a decade later and violating your and you're not like put back in jail or execute. Like it's just the whole thing, you know. And some math. Well, 1999 plus 10 would be what, 2009, right? 10, 11 years, give or take. So, and then Academic Agent did a interview with Scrump Monkey. What is his name? Scrumph Monkey, Scrumph, and Legally Evelyn. And the two of them, for reasons unknown, it's unclear, they decided to go against all better judgment and hop on camera, which they don't usually do. Hassan, it could be heart failure due to shock collar. Oh, was Hassan the other man? Big if true. These are allegations that I don't know. They're unproven allegations that Hassan was the other man in the dog park or whatever. Okay. So
need to come to terms with what
the video is called, by the way, the video is called Based is Over. Based is over. And brother, you could say that again if this is what we're doing. If this is what we're doing, brother, you could say that again. Based is over.
they went through during that period, that you would not have had some of the compliance during COVID and the lockdown had it not been the sort of charismatic, bonkers-based Boris and Trump in. I think that would have not been as easy to pull off without basically the same sort of vibe thing going on. But there's something to be said for the fact that, as you pointed out, these people have no creativity. They have nothing.
This is what Nick is not what he says matters. Cool, grammatically correct sentence there. Thank you for that one.
Unique to share. We're some of the only people that have that stuff. That's why they come and bother us all the bloody time. So maybe, for once in a while, we should just stop. See what happens.
One of the, I mean, there's a few things here that I'd like to unpack, because one of the issues that I've got is that, and this is the disagreement I have with Dave, the distributist. He was like, well, your problem is that you don't like the fact that things have been mainstreamed, right? You want to hold on to, but the trouble is that the process of mainstreaming transforms it into the opposite of what it was in the first place. Okay. And in the case of MAGA, I think we've seen the entire iron law of oligarchy play out to the extent where now you've got the chuds like cheering on, military adventurism, okay, and arguing that actually this is always what America First was meant to be, and this is the base thing to do, and blah 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 blah. So you had a group of people who were ostensibly against the system, or they'd fallen out of love with the institutions. They were buying out. Now you've got them as a cheerleading squad for the American government. That's basically what's happened. And the problem is, one, if you want to talk about cool, I mean, it's lost its authenticity. There was a moment where Trump was funny. There was a moment where some of the memes were actually shareable.
Anyway, I don't. What am I even supposed to say here? What are we doing? I'm not like saying like you can't talk to people, you shouldn't talk to people, but how am I supposed to take this seriously? I cannot. I can't. I listened to a little bit of it yesterday, and a lot of it that I caught was like them complaining about other people being too popular or whatever, which is like a very common thing you get from the intellectuals, if you will. The theory cells. Theory cells love to complain about how everyone's listening to the wrong commentators or whatever. And it's like, if that's the most interesting thing you have to say, then it's not that surprising that there aren't that many people listening to you. Like Bronze Age Pervert does the same thing. It's just like a lot of whinging about how the wrong people have an audience. Well, why don't you just try having your own audience that doesn't involve complaining about people you don't like? This is why Devin gatekeeps against pedo apologist Fuentes. Oh, Devin Stack. Well, they were cool. That my progress report episode was supposed to be Fuentes and Stack. They were both booked. They both agreed to it, but that was before they had the falling out. I don't know, man. I get what Rebecca was saying is like you want to be able to talk to people. And I am being like kind of a hypocrite because like you know me, I hate when people complain about my guests. I really hate it. So me complaining about AA's guests. But I mean, it's like he can do what he wants. I just can't take it seriously. I cannot. To me, right wing, it has to be something approaching some kind of conservatism. Like that has to be part of it. And it can include this. So I don't know, man. Now they all hate each other. That's life. Okay. And now circling back to this halftime thing, which people were asking me about on the Tuesday show. And I didn't really want to talk about it because I didn't really know about it, but I do feel like this is worth talking about. Okay. So we have this Telegram post. What is interesting about that halftime show is that it seems like they almost deliberately leaned away from militant wokeism. Unlike the late 2010s, early 20s, the show didn't feel like they were intentionally giving white people the middle finger at every opportunity. Obviously, there was political messaging, but it was framed in a way that could be plausibly be considered inclusive to normal people. No transvestites, nothing explicitly anti-American, nothing about Trump or immigration. There was an American flag, and he said, "God bless America." The right wing has to contend with this more subversive, tactful expression of multiculturalism, leftism, which isn't as openly antagonistic. We have to be honest about what it is. Okay. 100% agree with this assessment. Completely agree. And if you watched me talking about the halftime show on Monday, this is what I was saying or what I was trying to say. I said that, they put up this messaging of love conquers hate and stuff. And I was talking about how it's very difficult to explain to a normie how this is like it's meant to humiliate you, It's meant to humiliate you, but also you're not meant to pick up on it because it's signaling towards people who are racially conscious, right? So the brown people who are racially conscious, they see this and they're like, yes, we're taking over. It's our century. It's the Latino century. The white people like me is like, oh, this is a huge fuck you to white people. And then you have all the white people who are just kind of asleep at the wheel and like, oh, that was a fun show with a lovely message about unity and love. So I agree with this. During the era of peak wokeism, the left was so arrogant and contemptuous that they really wanted to stick it to the white man, and they also wanted it to be obvious. Ever since the culture started to turn around 22, seems like the left has dialed it back and are now self-consciously trying not to be needlessly antagonistic towards whites. I think about how Tim Walz in the camo hat and White Dudes for Kamala was sort of an olive branch to white men. Of course, it was an embarrassing and ridiculous failure, but this was a marked shift from 2016 when the message was practically, fuck you, we hate you. And I know this will be taken out of context by the usual suspects, so I will clarify. I'm not saying that the left doesn't hate us. Obviously they do, but they are being more tactful. It's a trick. And my point is that conservatives need to be mindful that we are not dealing with the exactly same animal. Maybe All-American Halftime Show is an effective counter to Colin Kaepernick or something, but I think it's less effective when the left is toned down as it was last night. Yeah, Nick really hates the TPUSA Halftime Show, which I don't really care about personally. To me, it's like I could throw a halftime show in my backyard and call it the pro-white nationalist halftime show, and it can have a budget of $20 and it can suck. Like, who gives a fuck? The Super Bowl is the cultural touchstone. So I'm watching the Super Bowl to see what they're doing. And what TPUSA is doing is like so irrelevant to me that I don't know why we even have to talk about it. That's just my stance on that. I don't expect TPUSA to win the culture war for me. You tell me they're doing their own halftime show, I'm going to assume before seeing it that it's going to kind of suck. So who cares about that? Putting that aside, I agree with this Telegram post like 110%. It's exactly spot on. Their propaganda is getting better, and we have to contend with that, and that it makes it harder. It makes it harder for us to deal with this in a way where we don't seem like schizoid freaks. I mean, I saw Scott Greer say that, like, you know, boomer MAGA people do like that sort of pandering hick whatever, which is probably true. But I mean, that's the thing about TPUSA is they only know how to appeal to that sort of, it's not for the youth. It's not for a youth mentality. It's for a much older. And the thing is like, I'm older, and I will say, as an older man, I can appreciate more of that, like that kind of country music. Like, I just want to go fishing and pet my dog and drink a beer or whatever. I don't hate that stuff. But when you can't expect young guys in their early 20s who grew up in like urban areas listening to Kanye West to think that that stuff is cool. It's like, it's for older people and younger people who are like country people. And that's kind of it. Anyway. So, okay, I agree with all of this. There's no problem. It's good analysis. Then we get to this here. Don Lemon laughs and agrees with Nick Fuentes on the TPUS halftime show and the fake outrage over the Bad Bunny show. Now, I've not watched this clip, but this sentence here, fake outrage, this is what I was talking about earlier with Blonde, where it's like, I'm tired of the whiplash, man. Okay, so they do hate us. It is propaganda. It is subversive. Then why should I not be outraged about that? Well, I don't know. Maybe this is misrepresenting it. Well, I'm going to have to watch the clip. I commented without watching. Okay, I said should be your first clue. In other words, Don Lemon being on your side is the kind of thing that you might take a step back and be like, hold on. Don Lemon is like cheering me on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Wait a minute. Kid Rock is a pedophile, and that's not an allegation. It's in his lyrics. Cool. All right, let's listen to the clip because I don't care about, again, hating on TPUSA. What I'm interested in is why are you saying it's fake outrage if I'm upset that the fucking Super Bowl halftime show is not even in English and is full of brown people twerking around like a bunch of degen gays and the music sucks? Why is that fake outrage?
Just back it up. There we go.
Ghettoizing away from the real halftime show and honestly pretending to be offended. It's literally fake outrage, self-ghettoizing, being overly political, pretending to like the things because of the values they purport to have. In other words, we have become the kind of far left in a certain sense. It's the same kind of behavior that I think alienated the normies from the left 10 years ago. So I thought...
Again, there's definitely a kind of person who just straight up unironically likes that thing. It's... Again, Tom McDonald has 5 million YouTube subscribers. We talked about this with Mark Collette last night, right? People like you and me and Nick Fuentes, we look at Tom McDonald and we're like, how the fuck does anybody like this? But that's the MAGA boomer base. They're not the most sophisticated people. Okay? They like, Kid Rock and drinking beers and saying America, fuck yeah. That's just what they like. Those are like the people who are like Trump's strongest soldiers.
It was a big L. I was watching that and just felt like depressed. I'm watching this show and I'm like, it's boring. The costumes suck. The production sucks. The songs suck. The lyrics are weird. The acts are...
It's also, I looked up the budget out of curiosity, and you can take this with a grain of salt, but according to Google, the TPUSA budget was $5 million, and the Super Bowl halftime show budget was $10 to $20 million. So even just there, you wouldn't expect them to be of equal quality. If they have 4 times the budget, they're probably going to put on a better show.
Weird. I'm like, if this is the best we have to offer, I think everybody's going to go with Latino futurism.
Well, Duct Tape, I don't know if that's supposed to, if you're supposed to like shitting on me because I didn't complain about, but I'm sure I've complained about the halftime show pretty consistently. I'm sure we went through this last year and we talked about how the halftime show, wasn't it Kendrick Lamar last year? Oh God, that was atrocious. So nobody was saying it was fine when it was all black, but making it not in English is just another step. It's another insult.
If the white right, if the best we have to offer is the sad dying gasp of white culture, it's like some white trash country hip hop artist from Detroit from the 90s.
Yeah, Don Lemon loves this because he's just shitting on white people and how white people suck and have no good culture. And look, there is a kernel of truth. I was saying this myself, is like, if you had peak white culture, white American culture doing the halftime show, it would be Taylor Swift, which I'm not that excited about, to be honest. I don't think I've ever, like, I'm not into like any like mainstream artists or whatever, but Taylor Swift is just kind of like, it's too female coded, right? But that's what we have as white people. That's who's like queen of the castle, so to speak. And Sabrina Carpenter, which is probably just worse and also slightly less popular. But there's got to be like whatever, like get Coldplay in there or something. Get like I don't know, there's got to be some big bands that are like actually kind of good. Even like get like the Imagine Dragons. They're white, aren't they? Lady Gaga, not female. I'm not doing this again. I'm not taking that bait. But you see what I'm saying? you see what I'm saying is like, there's no, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, Taylor Swift is not that exciting. Bad Bunny fucking sucked. He sucked, and I don't want to pretend like he didn't suck. His music was so fucking bad. Can we stop pretending like that music wasn't horrible? You're comparing it to Kid Rock? That's not fair. Nobody likes Kid Rock. And probably I would rather go. No, not probably. If I had to go to a Kid Rock show or a Bad Bunny show, I'm going to Kid Rock. There's no thinking about it. But it's this thing of like, oh, look, white people don't have any good music. Nigga, Bad Bunny sucks. You couldn't pay me to listen to that shit. It was so bad. I'm not being performative. It's not fake outrage. It was bad music. I like hip hop. I like reggae. I like all of it. Funk, dancehall, jazz. I'm blacker than any of you wiggers, okay? Because none of you guys like jazz. I'm the blackest wigger in the room. And I'm here to tell you that Bad Bunny fucking sucks. Really bad. Okay.
Now, I did not have to say it.
I like Latin American music. I like salsa too. I like a lot of that stuff. It wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Nick Fuentes said it for me. Thank you, Nick. Because y'all know.
I like, you guys, Buena Vista Social Club. Oh, I'm so open-minded when it comes to music. There's only like 2 or 3 kinds of music that I don't like. Metal and Bad Bunny. The only music I don't like, metal and Bad Bunny.
What I wanted to say, but I just couldn't. But he's saying it. I'm not saying that I agree with that. He is reading your ass. He's telling you it's fake outrage, and this is what you want this to be your culture. Okay, back it up a little bit because I wanted to hear about
taking my white card away.
There we go.
Sure, it's like some white trash.
I would take metal over Bad
Bunny.
Bunny. That's a good. Thank you. Does that make it better? Are you guys calming down? I would go to the metal show definitely over the Bad Bunny show. Definitely.
The 90s, if that's the best we have to offer, people are going with liberal hegemony. And if liberal hegemony is not giving a middle finger in their face, people are going to go with it. In other words, white people are going to feel better being included in liberal hegemony and being included in Hollywood and included in the Super Bowl and included in the Grammys. As long as white people feel like they're not actually being like deliberately offended and oppressed, they're going to prefer that. So we need to come up with something different. The kind of Matt Walsh grumbling about the halftime show every year like it's the end of the world. It's just not attractive. It doesn't attract. So you can take that and you can do whatever you want with that. You can say that, I'm only saying that because I'm Mexican and I, whatever. You can cope, but that's the truth.
Sorry. I love it so much because that's Nick Fuentes. That's like, he's right. He's as right wing as you can get. He does.
It's not as right wing as you can get.
From him, he doesn't like women. He doesn't like people of color. I mean, but he is reading you for filth. He's saying you're fake. Your outrage is fake, that you're pretending.
The fake outrage thing is really grinding my gears, which is okay. So, and Nick did say that, although then he weirdly said that it wasn't actually fake outrage. It was pretend like you're pretending to like something you don't. Okay. So I said, should be your first clue. And I get like, should we really be excited about Kid Rock and some lame boomer friendly country singers? I said like, no, But the Bad Bunny show is a fuck you to white America. Anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is gaslighting. And then they say, well, you should watch Nick's entire show. He also explained the political undertones. And Nick said it was a fuck you to America. You just made some dumbass assumption and this and that. And it's like, well, no, Nick said that if you didn't like it, you were pretend fake outrage. And he also said it was good show. By the way, he also said, he tweeted, I liked the halftime show. I thought it was fun. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm getting. And then somebody, you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but somebody made a little meme where they juxtapositioned this Nick Fuentes tweet. This guy's posting like fucking like Lady Gaga penis photos. I'm about to ban this motioner guy. They put it with this like little 7-second clip or whatever from the Super Bowl show where two gay dudes were grinding on each other. So there it is right there. Two gay brown dudes grinding on each other. But look, people are like, oh, you didn't watch the show. He said it was a fuck you to America. Okay. But so why did he like it then? I guess, look, in all fairness and it's obvious you don't watch. I mean, this is what people, it's so annoying. Why do I have to watch it? Why can't I just look at this where he says, I liked the show? And then look at the other thing where he says the show is a fuck you. And then look at the other thing where he says it's a fake outrage. And just be like, I don't have time for this.
$3. No serious white person should give Nick the time of day anymore.
You can't keep contradicting yourself and then be like, you got to actually watch 3 more hours if you want to understand. I have looked at some Bad Bunny lyrics and they're atrocious. If he was singing in English, everybody would be like, this is the worst song I've ever heard. It's worse than like it's worse than like Cardi B or whatever.
Thank you Bad Bunny for lighting the fire underneath the Deport and Disown Puerto Ricans movement.
I don't know why those first 2 power chats didn't play. Sorry. Tristan Chase said Bad Bunny.
Wandering Neanderthal sent $5 LP. You should read the English translation of the halftime show song lyrics. Hilarious.
Let me try the replay because according to Vampire Frog, it's not going to double the donation to the goal anymore. Let's see.
Tristan Chasey sent $5. Bad Bunny lyrics. Hey, Auntie asked me if I have a lot of girlfriends. Today I have one. Tomorrow I'll have another. Hey, but there's no wedding. Auntie asked me if a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah. Gibberish. Degenerate gibberish. Anyway. LP, you gotta watch Nick's show. You just don't get it. You're getting IQ filtered. Nigga. It's right here. I liked the halftime show. I thought it was fun. People who don't like it, they're fake outraged. But also it's a fuck you to white America. The most like generous, the most the most charitable interpretation I can give for this tweet is that, you know, he's saying that he liked it in spite of what it was, which is that's fine. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to appreciate things, you know. It's like me watching the Fallout show and knowing that it's got gay propaganda, but being like, you know, I kind of like the show in spite of what it is. That's fine. But don't get mad at me if you're just throwing this shit out here with no nuance at all. Don't get mad at me and be like, you got to watch the show Why? The tweet's right here. I was really tempted to just like reply to every groiper like with this video. But I'm not, you know. A lot of like lame replies. Oh, and I remember the last thing I want to touch on here is was Kendrick Lamar's show last year a fuck year to white America also? Where was the performative outrage about that? What if, like, groipers, dude, I'm sorry, but on Twitter, like, groipers are fucking retarded. It was a fuck you. We all talked about how much it sucked. You can go back and watch the streams, and there's a reason TPUSA did what they did. Do you think TPUSA just like pulled that out of their ass last minute? It takes a lot of work and planning to put something like that together. What a stupid, these are the people, dude. When you argue with groipers, these are the arguments you get. Just stupid. Yes, you didn't watch the show. At least be an informed hater. See, this is what I mean is like, I want to reply to this guy and just send him this video. You know what this video, you know what I mean? At least you didn't watch the show. Which one is it? Is the show a fuck you to white America, or is it good and fun? Because those seem to have a hard time coexisting, those two ideas. Why didn't white America offer something better? That's also annoying. You know what? I didn't watch the TPUSA show, but I'll just say it was better. Like the bar is so low. The only reason you don't like it is because your brain, let me rephrase. The only reason any white guy would like the Bad Bunny show more is because your brain's been like Africanized. You've been niggerfied by Jewish music industry and media because it's like all you listen to all the time. That's why. Look, the choreography was okay. They did like some okay. It wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't like watching like a really good ballet. You know what I mean? It was, they probably rehearsed that choreography like for like 2 hours. People are like acting like it was amazing. Like it's so hard to like do a thing where it's like, okay, then they're going to do this, then you're going to do that, and we're going to pull the camera as it happens. You rehearse that a couple dozen times. That's it. It's not, Tchaikovsky's like Swan Lake or whatever. Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm at the end of my rope. I can't with the quantum physics superposition, Nick Fuentes having every position all the time. We love Hitler, nigga Heil Hitler, but also Hitler was evil. He murdered millions of people. The Epstein thing was an Israeli Mossad blackmail operation to subvert our politics and control our government and undermine our nation's interests. But also nobody did anything wrong, and it was cool and it had aura. By the quarter zip. The Bad Bunny show is advanced subversive propaganda and a fuck you to America. But also it was good, and anybody claiming it wasn't good is just pretending to be fake outraged. I'm at the end of my rope with this. I'm getting the whiplash. And that's the funny thing, that like that's the frustrating thing with arguing with the groipers is when you take like every position, when somebody criticizes you on one, They attack you on, they say, oh no, he didn't say that. He actually said the exact opposite. You're wrong. He said the opposite of that. And it's like, well, yeah, because he says everything. I can handle disagreeing with people. I can handle people having takes that I don't like, as long as I mostly like their takes. I can handle people having bad takes, as long as I like most of their takes. But I'm at the end of my rope with a guy who has every take on everything all the time. I'm running out of patience for that. And if your defense always has to be like, well, this tweet's bait, this isn't real, this is trolling, I'm at the end of my rope with that too. I don't have time to figure out what's real and what's not. That's just how I feel, okay? Some people were talking about how ratings dropped during the Super Bowl, which apparently is somewhat common, but they dropped by a bigger ratio during Bad Bunny than other Super Bowls. The most. It was like the biggest drop according to one analysis. And it's worth noting that for everybody who like changed the channel, there's probably like a couple people who muted, because that's what we did in our house. My father-in-law went to mute right away. And then he went to mute right away. And I said, no, turn it up. I want to watch because I've got to review this for my show. And so we listened to like 4 or 5 minutes, and then he turned it down. He couldn't take it anymore. And he was like, he couldn't take it anymore, and he was like, I can't understand what they're saying. So another thing that the Groypers were saying to me, which is kind of like all what I said already, is they're saying like, oh, you can't explain to normies that it's like a big fuck you. And I'm like, yeah, I don't watch. I don't even know what the teams were, but we had people over. We had snack trays. I drank a Moscow Mule. Okay. It's called socializing. And then I had to leave to go do YCSP. I didn't watch the game, but I did catch the show, the halftime show. And this is what I was saying to Mark Collette and Ethan Ralph yesterday. I was saying, if the argument is going to be that normies are going to think you're a schizo, then let them think that. Yo, Tristan Chase. Is it going to play? That's right. The Seattle Krakens won. What's happening? Try again. Replay. All right. Well, here's the video he sent.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you for the $50.
Attention to the center field area. To present the colors for today, the Vietnam Veterans Color Guard, Unit 400, and soldiers from the 6th U.S. Army Presidio of San Francisco. And now, may we direct your attention to in front of the pitcher's mound. To honor America in the singing of our national anthem, Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, Vince Welnick, San Francisco's own, the Grateful Dead.
You know, just going back real quick to that one tweet, why didn't white people do something better? Are you fucking, I would fucking bitch slap that guy, man, if he said that to me in front of me. Whoosh. Why don't they get like, why don't they use a little creativity? Why don't they get like Cirque du Soleil to do the halftime show? That would be a good show. That would be some white excellence. Hey, Grok, what percentage of Cirque du Soleil performers are white?
Let me check that real quick. Cirque du Soleil doesn't publish exact racial breakdowns for their performers. They emphasize global diversity. Artists hail from over 50 countries, with shows often featuring 20-plus nationalities. But no public stats pin down the percentage who are white. The closest data comes from general U.S. circus performer stats, around 57% white, 19% Hispanic Latino.
I went to a Cirque show and it was pretty white. It's all I'm saying. It was pretty white.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched.
This is the best you could do, Tristan. I don't want to look at gift horse in the mouth, but this is the white excellence that you came up with. You're kind of proving Nick's point. Scarlet begonias. It was a summer of love, and I think it's time to because the woman took the loving over me. Okay.
Was it something he said? Probably. Bad Bunny lost millions of viewers during his halftime performance, which you may remember.
Okay, and I'll come back to that.
Was in Espanol. The crowd didn't comprende either.
No one is dancing, not one person.
See, this is the big lie. Look, you like the show, you like the choreography, you like the whatever. That's you're allowed to. It's your call. You're allowed to like things. But do not gaslight me and tell me that the normies loved it, that everyone loved it. Because they didn't. There's multiple videos like this. There's all the people who tuned out. I watched my normie family react, and they are basically normies. They're like Trump supporter normies who are the same people who like go to the Super Bowl by and large. You know what I mean? Like a lot of football fans probably lean somewhat conservative. It's very like Christian sport. There's a lot of praying on the field and that kind of thing. But this is the part that really pisses me off is they're like, you little wiggers pretending to be angry or whatever. Everyone, all the normal people loved the show. No, the fuck they didn't. They didn't. Record loss. And again, they can't track people who just mute the TV.
Time, but
I'm not a football guy, but I heard people say the game wasn't interesting. There was no touchdowns by the time they got to halftime. If I'm not mistaken, we don't need the Fox News analysis. So here's again, it's just showing the dip in viewership. Puerto Ricans hold this out. Hey, Flood. Thank you. If you guys missed it, I did a show with Flood on Tuesday. Very nice guy. We had a nice little chat. on his Rumble channel. Thank you for the $10, sir. I'm going to try to get some of those clips out when I get a chance to actually watch them. Last thing about this. I know it's like, why are we still talking about this on Thursday? Okay, last thing, and then hopefully we never talk about Bad Bunny ever again. People saying like the TPUSA show sucks, it's lame, blah, blah, blah. There may be more of a long game to this than you realize. As this guy pointed out here, the last time the NFL had a competing halftime show, they brought in Michael Jackson the following year. And this is again with like people being like, how come no one protested Kendrick Lamar last year? We did, first of all. But second of all, the TPUSA show may have been a reaction to like, wow, they keep doing this. Kendrick Lamar wasn't the first. It was like number 7 in a row. That was all non-white. So TPUSA was like, we should do our own show. In Living Color did this, and they brought in Michael Jackson the next year because and the TPUSA show had like 20 million viewers or what. Now, okay, some people said they're botting, which maybe. It was like on YouTube, they had like 20 million viewers. People accuse them of botting. Maybe they did. But if they took 5 million views away from the NFL, that's probably enough that people at the NFL are like, okay, we actually have competition. And maybe they'll do a better show next year. Who knows? Probably not with Jay-Z in charge of everything, but who knows? Okay, I'm going to wrap this up, I think. I had some other things, but I'm kind of losing my voice, and I really got the stuff I wanted to get out of my system. Thank you for the great support today, you guys, and thank you for watching. You can check out the progress report episode with Mark Collette and Ethan Ralph from yesterday if you missed that, if you want some more content. I'm going to bounce. You guys have a great day, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace out.